Hello, my name is Liam Neely, and this code turns pictures into music. So let's start the code right here. So this takes in a image right here. I'm using this funny picture of a monkey, and I'm grabbing the dimensions of it. So this picture is 300 by 168, and then I take all of the individual colors of each of the pixels, and then I'm putting it into this really big list. So let me mark this so that I can have every single pixel. Each one of these is one pixel. And then I'm cycling through each pixel at a random rate. I have it set random so I can get more of an abstract feeling to this music. You can do it without the random and we'll have a set tempo to it. But for this specific project, I wanted to add in a random aspect. But if you just got rid of that, then it would go away. This right here is how fast the music is moving in beats per minute, and this is how many in milliseconds. And so I'm taking the size of the picture, so 300 and 168, and then I'm putting that into a counter. So I'm setting it so count from 0 to 300, which would count every single pixel along this top line. And then after it cycles the whole thing, then it counts one time on the other one, which is the next thing. So how tall it is. So then it would go 2 to 300, then 3 to 300, and keep going across line and line and line until you got through the whole thing. If you were to do this entire picture, it would probably take, like, depending on the tempo, around like 4 or 5 hours. But that's a lot of time for monkey music. So I decided to only use certain specific sections of it. To decide the specific rhythm of it, I used this portion over here because I didn't want it to all just be like, oh, it's just all quarter notes at different tempos, which would technically be like varying things, but I wanted it a more drastic thing. So I would have half notes, eighth notes, and quarter notes. So right now I have it set to take all of the pixels from here and then divide each of it into its red, green, and blue values. So I take the first pixel and I take all the red, green, and blue values, and that's one note. So we'll get to that after I do this. Talk about this. So this portion right here decides the actual note of it. So the red value will decide what note it is, and I have it set up so that it will only stay in a specific key. So at the moment, I only have it set up with major keys, but minor keys is just a different math expression. Or right now, I'm just using if statements. So if it's one of the notes in the key, which can just be represented by a MIDI number, then pass the note through. But if it's not in the key, then lower it down by a half step and then play that note. Then I have the harmony, which if I open this, I have it set so that it will do a random harmony based on the note that was just played. So it'll either play like a fourth, a fifth, a seventh, or an octave above. And if I wanted to, I could add all of the different intervals. But at the moment, I have it set to these specific ones because I thought I wanted specific ones. And so I chose these ones. So that's all of the red value. If it takes in the blue value, and that is just the velocity of every note. So if there's a lot of blue, then it'll be a really loud note. If there's not a lot of blue, then it'll be a really quiet note. Then I have the green value, which decides, how I was saying before, how long each note is. So I have it set up so it could either be twice as long, just as long as it normally is, which would be a quarter note, and then half the speed, which is an eighth note. And I'm sending all of that data to here to then either multiply the tempo by 2, which would then speed it up, or I would multiply it by 1/2, which would slow it down, or multiply by 1 and it does nothing. And that's it for the tempo bit. And right here I have it set so that you can see what specific note it ends up being on. You can see that it's changing here. And it's only staying right now in C major because I have it set to that because it's the easiest to tell what key it is, because you can see there's no sharps or flats or anything here. And you can easily change it by messing with this number, because this would just move it by half steps. So instead of minusing it by 1, I can minus by 2, and it would move a whole step and all that. And then I'm just MIDIing out this into Ableton. And I think that's it for the code portion. Thanks for listening.